Heads to the pocket. Layup. Johnson. Good.
All right, welcome everybody. It's Chris Powers here. We're talking sports with me, and of course, we've got lots to talk about today. Getting football season, it's amazing how fast it's gone. It seemed like 12, 13 weeks ago we were getting ready for the season. All of a sudden, it's done. I mean, it is absolutely crazy how fast football season is gone. Just 2 more games left for Southern, 3 for LSU, but goodness gracious, just absolutely crazy. And speaking of crazy, lots of crazy things going on at LSU. I mean, you got to wonder, who in the hell is running that? Am I getting smarter, or people that are in position that are top people are dumber? Because right now, it is absolutely a massive joke at LSU. A massive joke at LSU. And it all has to do with Brian Kelly's contract. Now, in the contract, it states that he gets 90% of his buyout, basically, if he gets fired. That's $54 million. That's $808,000 a month, all the way to 2031. 6 years. Now, duty to mitigate is in the contract. Equals look for other jobs. Like if you be on unemployment. So if you're unemployed, you got to say you're looking for a job. Doesn't mean you are. I've been on unemployment one time in my life, and I acted like, okay, yeah, I went and seen Burger King. No. I went and seen this and that. No. But I had to put it down to get your check every week. So October 26th, that's when the big day happened. That's when Kelly had a meeting with AD Scott Woodward, and then also several other officials from LSU, and it was determined that he was fired after the conversation. There were so many rumors going around. That's why you can't believe anything. Even the Advocate, who, there's a lot of people over there I trust. The Advocate had there was a big shouting match there. It wasn't the case, apparently. They said that Scott Woodward had no intention on firing him, walked into the room, and they got in a yelling match. Apparently that wasn't the case. And this is coming from the Advocate. So at that point, Scott Woodward apparently fired Brian Kelly. But at the same time, LSU now is, and they sent press releases out to everybody. Press releases were sent to everybody that he was fired. And they promoted an interim head coach. Now LSU is saying Scott Woodward didn't have authority to fire him. Excuse me, he has authority to hire him, but didn't have the authority to fire him? Now? What? Who? Where? Frank Wilson was your coach. You promoted him to coach. So you can't say, well, Kelly didn't show up for his job the next day, because you promoted a coach. So the big deal is, and what LSU is the big word, is cause. What? Cause. They believe they can fire him with cause. That's crazy. With cause. So, do they got pictures with him with a sheep? What the hell? With cause. You better have cause. You better, because you're going to lose and you should lose. LSU believes that because they offered him 2 cash settlements, one of 25 and one of 30, he turned both of them down. And at that point, they said, no, we gave him his opportunity to get his money. I told you that weeks ago. If I'm Brian Kelly, the only part we're negotiating is what bank you're sending my check to. That's it. That's all I'm negotiating. I'm not negotiating nothing. You had big boy pants to fire me, big boy pants to pay me. $54 million. So they're looking at cause is the big word here. That's the hook. That's a smoking gun. There's all kind of rumors going around. I don't believe that, because Brian Kelly probably would not have filed a lawsuit in East Baton Rouge Parish on Monday evening if he felt that they had a cause. If they had a cause, they got him. So let's take a look at it. Maybe because he didn't do his job, he won 71% of his job, 71% of his games. Did it have it there that he had to go to a national championship in 3 3/4 of a year? Probably not. Did he break NCAA rule violations with the recruiting or something like that. Right now, no word to be seen that he did. Violating LSU rules? Again, any sex or anything like that with a worker? No, not hearing any of that. Betting on sports? Nope. How about fraud and other things? That's in the contract. Word is he didn't break any of that. Unless you have a picture of Kelly doing something wrong, he's going to get his full $54 million, whatever the lawyers get after that. LSU is not muddying the waters. They're bloodying the waters. They're bloodying them. I mean, I've never seen anything so dumb in my life. Or is somebody out there betting on games to say, we want to throw LSU's program out to where they're back to pre-Saban days? Because that's what we're heading. That's where you're heading. My LSU fandom is getting close to the end. And and the thing about it is, they're so out of whack right now on this and everything else. Is not even funny. What coach is going to want to come here? You're going to have a no-name coach to want to come here. A no-name coach. Like I said, Brian Kelly won 71% of his games, and he had 3 3/4 of a season to do it. That's it. LSU fans were so nuts over this, they didn't give him an opportunity to even do nothing. 3 3/4, building it from where he didn't have enough players on his roster for scholarships the first year. Again, people didn't like him. They didn't like Les Miles. Now people are calling for Ogeron and Les Miles to come back. What happened to Louisiana in the last 2 years and I told this a couple of weeks ago, Derek Carr and now Brian Kelly? Are we known as the state for hospitality? Didn't everybody go crazy when they come here? They say, oh, the food was great. The hospitality was great. What the hell is going on in this generation now that people are just plain out mean? Well, here's the problem. You know what's going to happen? You're going to go to pre-Saban days if we don't get a big-time coach. And our coach that you feel that's going to be any good, you're going back to pre-Saban days. That's the Auburn Tigers. That's the Tennessee Volunteers. That's the Florida Gators. And there's people that tell me, oh, no, we're not going to do that. We got too much recruiting. What happened before Saban got here? We didn't have football players then? What happened then? No. It could happen. If they don't have a coach out here like a Curly Hallman or Jerry DiNardo that a lot of state players didn't want to play for, they're gone. They'll be happy to go somewhere else, and other schools will be happy to come in here. Especially in the New Orleans area. You know how many NFL players are from New Orleans? It didn't matter if you agree with me or not. So bottom line is, I heard Kelly was a jerk. So was Nick Saban, but Nick Saban won championships, I understand. I heard Kelly was, a lot of people told me that was around him, he said he was a jerk. I understand that. And it doesn't matter if you agree with me or not that Kelly should have been given more of a chance. It doesn't matter. But the problem is coaching circles do not want to come here. Urban Meyer's made a comment about it. Sarkisian's made a comment about it. Saban kind of made a little comment about it. There's people that don't want to come here because of all the stuff with the governor, who has absolutely screwed up this whole process and got rid of a very good athletic director because he's a Democrat, and Scott Woodward. Now, no word on that's exactly why it happened, but word is that's exactly what happened. I don't know. And that's a shame because Scott Woodward did a very good job. And for those people out there who say, well, he gave a horrible contract, a 10-year contract, $100 million. Do you think you're going to get a big coach like an Urban Meyer or somebody like that to come here to LSU and not give him a big contract like that? So are you happy with, let's go even further than that, the University of Texas, who's got all the money in the world? When's the last time they won a national championship in football? Big time, you are asking, it's not fun and we'll get rid of Brian Kelly. It's not fun no more. We got beat 3 times bad in Tiger Stadium at night. We got to get rid of him. Wasn't just 3 losses, it's how we lost. 3 games, 3. Not 13, not 50. 3 games. Wasn't happy with that. Well, will you be happy with sub 500? Better yet, let's go back to the days of Charlie McClendon. Let's bring Charlie McClendon back and see who we can put on the practice. Oh, hey, the practice field has got this field goal, and it's sponsored by this coach. It's named after this coach, who was a sub 500 winner, who won one SEC championship. I'm not here to bash Charlie McClendon. God forbid. He won one SEC title, one, and you put his name on a practice field. LSU will have to settle with a no-name coach. That's the bottom line. I mean, all right, not a big-name coach like DeBoer went to Alabama. We're not going to get a coach like that. Dan Lanning has already said he's not coming. So you can scratch his name off the list. Urban Meyer's not coming. When did we let temperamental fans and donors make the decisions for the program? When are we going to be, as an athletic program at LSU, to say, you know what, I don't care if you like it or not. You're not an athletic director. You don't know the ins and outs. You don't know what happens in the locker room. There's people telling me right now with Frank Wilson and with Coach McNair over at Southern, well, I guess we should have kept the other coaches because of the fact that it didn't make a difference. Oh, my God. That's what fans are saying. And, look, I love fans. I'm a fan. But I'm also a realist, too. How in the world can you ask Frank Wilson and Fred McNair at Southern to reinvent the wheel in the middle of the season? That's not his players. That's not his coaching staff. That's not all of his philosophy. You can't change the playbook in the middle of the year. Actually, 3/4 of the year gone. You can't judge him on what's going on right here. You can't. Fred McNair's got the team fired up and playing a little bit better on offense. Defensively, they're struggling back and forth. They're playing too inconsistent. LSU looked horrible against Alabama. And yet Alabama didn't dominate that game. I listened to it on the way coming back from my game over in Mississippi. And I was listening to Chris Blair and the radio crew. Bad spotting by the refs. We had that at my game. And second of all, first down and goal from the 9-yard line for LSU. First down and goal. Two false start penalties brings them back 10 yards, and a sack brings them back to the 33-yard line. It's fourth down and go from the 33. They have to settle for a field goal. That's exactly what I'm going through at Southern. That's exactly what I'm going through at Southern. I've been an LSU fan all my life. I remember my first game. I don't remember who they played, and I don't remember what year it was. But I remember getting off, and I was living in Alexandria, Louisiana, and I met my mom, dad, and me went to my uncle's house in Ville Platte, Louisiana. He had tickets. We went down. We got off at Dalrymple Drive. I remember the big wall, the concrete wall. We ate at the Union, Student Union. We ate there, and we went up. We were sitting on the east side, and before they had the big top, the suites and all that, we were sitting on the east side, and I remember the fence right there. We were right by the fence, and it was a team with red colors. I don't remember who it was. And we watched them. I don't know if it was an SEC game. I don't know. Now, I can tell you the first game I went to in the Superdome, 1979, against the Detroit Lions. And I can tell you that Archie Manning ran into me as he was heading the locker room. I remember that. But I don't remember what game LSU played, what year they played. But I've been an LSU fan all my life. And I'll tell you, to be honest with you, what I'm seeing now with the LSU fans that hated Brian Kelly, with the way that LSU's handling this situation, I'm telling you right now, I'm getting to the point where my fandom is just about done. And when my fandom is done, it ain't coming back. It ain't coming back. Who could be the next coach? This crazy story made national news everywhere. Fox Sports, ESPN Sports, CBS Sports, NBC, Yahoo, you name it, it made it. So that even bloodied the waters even more about this settlement with Brian Kelly. Are you kidding me? That blooded it even more. It doesn't matter. So not only do you fire the guy, now you say we have cause to fire him, we believe, and now you also say Scott Woodward didn't have the authority to fire him. What the hell is going on? Who is running that show? So just as I thought you would have to settle for an athletic director in Verge Osbury, which could turn out to be a very good athletic director, I listened to his press conference a little bit because I'm going on the road, and apparently I've ran into Verge Osbury before, but I don't think I've met him. I haven't, met him at all. And like I said, I liked hearing it at the press conference. You got rid of a guy, though, in Scott Woodward that brought on Kim Mulkey, that brought on Jay Johnson, that got the gymnastics coach there. I mean, he was there already, assistant. But, again, you made it to where he was hired, and you've got a very good gymnastics program now. You ran that guy out of town, which, by the way, I lost a little respect for Scott Woodward. Because Marty and Jonathan, you've known me enough to where if that was me, I'd have got on the mic and I'd have told the governor, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. You don't know a damn thing what you're talking about. I wasn't involved with Texas A&M when they made that big Jimbo Fisher contract. I was at LSU, you idiot. Stick to politics. If you're good at politics, you better stick to it. And I've agreed a lot of things what Landry's done. But in this situation, he absolutely messed it up. He brought the kingfish out of the grave. I don't know if it's a horror movie where he was touching the kingfish's grave and all of a sudden lightning struck and now he becomes long again. But whatever he did, he messed it up. And he don't shut up. He continues to talk about it. And Woodward caved to the pressure and left. If I was Woodward, I would have said, no, you don't know what you're talking about. You're going to have to fire me. But this is why we did what we did. Big contracts for big coaches. You're going to have to get that. And again, so there's part of me that agrees with Brian Kelly that's gone. There's part of me, the bigger part that says no. You can't give a guy 3.75 of a year and think it's over. Again, that's not just me saying it. That's coaches saying it. They're looking at Brian Kelly had won 71% of his games in 3 3/4 of a year, and they fired him? I'm not going there. Hell with you. I'd rather face Jason Voorhees in the freaking woods. No, I'm not going there. And that's just coaching circles that are saying that. And when the coaching circles say that stuff, they ain't coming. Now, there's going to be a coach that's going to come on and say, oh, I want that challenge. But who? Who wants that challenge to come over here and to do that? To be honest with you, as a coach, I wouldn't want him. I wouldn't want it. And you know they're not going to pay him big-time money. But let's see who the next coach could be for LSU. We'll talk about it when we come back as we continue to talk sports with me, Chris Powers. Jonathan and Marty in the house. EMS is also here to make sure I don't have a heart attack or stroke on set. We'll be back right after this time out right here on Pelican Sports TV.
We're a nation of hardworking Americans, and businesses will always be the lifeline of this great country. As a business owner, you understand the importance of your reputation. In times of uncertainty, you need a real lawyer who's serious about protecting you and your business. You need a problem solver. You need the law firm of Clayton and Fouget. Tony Clayton is a proven trial lawyer. He'll defend you and your business to the fullest extent of the law. Protect your investment and call the law firm of Clayton and Fouget today.
For a lot of people, going to the dentist brings anxiety. It can feel cold, rushed, even intimidating. We get it. That's why we built something different. We take the time, we listen, we know your name and your story because you're more than just a patient, you're family. You don't have to dread the dentist. You just need the right one. Call or visit FougetFamilyDentistry.com to schedule.
Make a fun run in Livingston Parish now with all kinds of events for the whole family this fall. On October 25th, it's the Livingston Parish Creole Festival in French Settlement, Louisiana on Highway 16. Family-friendly fun, live music, Creole food, arts and crafts, and plenty of activities for the kiddos. Shop vendor booths and pursue the cultural exhibits. Then in November, it's the Walker reenactment on the 1st. Then on November 8th, it's the City of Walker Veterans Day Parade that will begin and end at Walker High School starting at 11 a.m. Also in the city of Denham Springs, the veterans will be honored at the Evergreen Park on November the 8th. For more information, visit LivingstonTourism.com. That's LivingstonTourism.com. Livingston Parish, make a fun run.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
All right, welcome back, everybody, here as we continue talking sports with me, Chris Powers. Who is the next LSU coach? That's what everybody wants to know. Nobody knows. Nobody knew that Nick Saban would get the job years ago. coming from Michigan State. Nobody knew that. It was not on anybody's radars. I read all the reports in the newspapers, all the reports on TV. Nobody knows nothing but Seth, the athletic director. And that goes for Southern, too. Look, I work at Southern. I am not hearing anything about who's the next coach at Southern University. But who will be the next coach at Southern? Well, the Advocate had a top 10 list of who they think could be the next head coach. And I respect all the Advocate. I do. I read their articles online and all that stuff, and I think they've got great people there. And I'm friends with some of them. So here's some of the list. Out of the top 10, I just got some of them. Joe Brady, offensive coordinator at Buffalo. Right now, he's struggling at Buffalo. There's even talk about possibly replacing him already at Buffalo. And he didn't like recruiting at all. At all, he didn't like recruiting. So you pretty much know he ain't coming. I mean, he was the guy that won a national championship. Not Insminger, not anybody else on the football team. It was Joe Brady. It was because of Joe Brady that we won a national championship in 2019 in LSU. No. Jeff Brougham from Louisville. Am I saying that right? Brom from Louisville. 92-54 overall at college in Western Kentucky, Purdue, and Louisville. Two-time Conference USA champ, two-time USA Eastern Divisional champ, Big Ten West champs. At Louisville, his record is 26-10, and he's number 19 currently in the poll. In the ACC right now, he's 4-2 and needs a lot of help to make the championship game. He's 11-16 versus top 25 teams. However, he's won 8 out of the last 12 in top 25 matchups, and he's 4-0 against top 5 teams. That sounds like a pretty good deal. I guess I'll get to know his name eventually. Eli Drinkwitz, Missouri head coach. Won the Sun Belt at Appalachian State. SEC Coach of the Year in 2023. Almost beat LSU, remember, on the road. LSU was on the road. Record at Missouri is 44-27, and he's 56-28 overall. He's 7-16 versus top 25 teams and 1-9 versus the top 10. Brent Key, Georgia Tech head coach. 26-17, 4 seasons at Georgia Tech. 7-1 versus ranked ACC teams and 15-5 versus overall versus top 25. Not bad. Lane Kiffin, Ole Miss. Everybody's wish list. Students are wanting him. 53-19 at Ole Miss in his 6th season. 5-6 versus top 10 teams. 1-10 versus top 5 teams. 1-10. Did you hear that, students? Did you hear that? Oh, he's cool, though. I don't give a rat's you know what. 1-10 versus top 5 teams. Oh, how about the championships, though? He's won a bunch of championships everywhere he's gone. Conference USA titles at Florida Atlantic, he's won 2. 2. Oh, wow. Wow, let's get the red carpet ready. Let's get what other ones that yeah, but he hadn't had a chance. He's at Ole Miss. He was at freaking USC. You think he had a chance at USC? Clark Lee out of Vandy. Hey, that guy's hot. He's 24-35 in 5 seasons, but that's Vanderbilt. It's 2-15 versus top 25 teams. One of those against LSU. The other one, Alabama last year. John Summerall, Tulane. 23-4 at Troy. Pretty impressive. 16-7 at Tulane right now. 39-11 overall. 2 Sun Belt championships and 2 Western Divisional titles. Now, again, there was a top 10. He had Urban Meyer on it, Dan Lanning on it. Dan Lanning said he's not leaving Oregon. Urban Meyer said he's not coming back to coaching right now, especially at LSU with that crap. Nick Saban was also on it. Nick Saban. When already Verge Osbury said, I talk to Nick Saban every day, and Coach his wife, Terry, is not going to let him come back. Miss Terry's not letting him come back. But crazy as it is, Las Vegas, Nevada moved him to number 1 yesterday. The number 1 top odds to come to LSU. Now, what are they hearing that we don't? But the thing I look at, I don't think he's coming. I know he's not coming. I'd be shocked as hell. Now, I think that could save LSU big time, and I'd be happy again. But for the LSU-Alabama game, he wore a red sweater for that game. So did Miss Terry. They just bought a brand new $1.5 million center they're going to open up in Tuscaloosa for something. I don't think he's coming at all to LSU. I mean, that'd be wishful thinking, and that could put him back in the Ring of Honor at LSU because right now fans don't want him in the Ring of Honor. Yet he woke up a sleeping giant. So out of all of these people that I'm looking at, I don't want Joe Brady here. Even if he told me he loved recruiting, I don't want Joe Brady here. I don't think Joe Brady's as good as people think he is. I think that is smoke and mirrors all the way. I'm sorry, that's a circus show. I mean, nice guy, I'm assuming. Sean Payton loved him to death, but to be a head coach or to be even an offensive coordinator didn't work at Carolina. Didn't work at Carolina. What was it? Teddy Bridgewater said they didn't even practice a freaking red zone offense ever or goal line stances. Never. He said, I've never been, even a high school football, I've never been that way. And by the way, also something I forgot to mention too in the first segment, that a lawyer came out, Gordon McKernan came out and said that the players that I represent said they didn't have a big relationship with Brian Kelly. Again, here you go again. These are fans that are saying this. These are supporters that are saying this. Do they really know what happens in a football environment? So let me ask you, Jonathan. You're smart. You know a lot about football. You have 85 scholarship players and 20 or 30 more that are not on scholarship that are on your football team. Do you think you can go and see all those players every week and go have tea with them or boil crawfish?
They have to be in a group.
Is that, you know, and I asked that to Coach Pete Richardson as we were heading to the game. He was a college coach, and he played college. No. Your position coach is your best friend, your position coach. And that makes sense. Everybody coming out and going nuts over Brian Kelly. Now, again, I heard he was not a very nice person. I understand that. But then even also, we heard a lot of other people coming out. There's only one person that defended him. And her young son was killed because he committed suicide. And she said, no. He not only called me almost every day, he spoke at my son's funeral. Because the dad came out and said he didn't call me at all. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know, guys. So college coach, NFL coach. You know why the difference is there? Now, they make more money than NFL coaches, believe it or not, because they work more. They work more. You have to recruit your own players to stay. You got to go recruit high school players, and you're constantly having to find NIL money and make sure that your players don't transfer or then look for other people to transfer in. So there's 3 types of recruiting you're doing. No, more than that. With NIL, you're doing 4 types of recruiting. You don't have time to do nothing. Now, word is that he played golf a lot. I don't know that, if that's true. Nobody can confirm that. Nobody can confirm that at all. Did he play more golf? With a winning record like he did overall, the most winningest active coach right now in college football, I wouldn't think he played that much golf. See, stuff like that, I don't believe that. Now, did he make mistakes? Yeah. Do I think LSU was as physical as they were back in the Les Miles, Nick Saban and those eras, and Ed Ogeron days? No, I don't think he was there. And whether that was firing a strength and conditioning coach, possibly. LSU is not as tough as they used to be. They're not. Look, I've said this on this show. The Weeks boys love them to death. I saw a Vanderbilt player push them around like it was no tomorrow. I think it was Wes. Got pushed around like it was. I mean, he was a rag doll. I've said this last year. I saw Weeks do that as well. Now Witt has got an unbelievable heart. They both have unbelievable hearts, and they have a nose for the football. To me, they're like Pete Warner. They're fast. They've got a nose for football and want to play. But will they be dominant in the National Football League? I don't know. Maybe I don't think I'm right. I don't think I'm wrong, rather. I just don't think they will. I think they're built. They're in good shape. But you got to be really, really big to be in the National Football League. It's the best of the best. So, like I said, I don't know who's going to be the next LSU coach. Nobody knows. I don't even know if LSU knows. Right now, the way I'm seeing this, I don't think LSU knows who the next coach is going to be. But I know they better get it quick because that first signing period, and they've got a pretty good recruiting class that Brian Kelly brought in here. One person's already said, he's from Florida, says, no, I've pulled my name out of LSU. They're going to have a home run hit, a home run hire. And I meant like we've never seen before, in a way. Because like I said, nobody thought Nick Saban would be here. Nobody thought Nick Saban was wait, that guy we beat in the Independence Bowl? The guy that wore the big glasses and we beat his team in Freeport? That's the guy coming to LSU? And look what he turned out to be. We might see that. I don't know. The Saints, big win on the road against the Carolina Panthers. We'll talk about that when we come back as we'll continue talking sports with me, Chris Powers, right here on Pelican Sports TV.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats, the flavor says it all.
Growing up in this office, I saw what made it different. My dad knew every name, every story. He made people feel comfortable even when they were nervous. And I learned something important. When you treat people like family, they remember it. That's how we've grown, through referrals, relationships, and real trust. That's the kind of care I believe in, and it's exactly what you'll find here at Fruget Family Dentistry. Fruget Family Dentistry, rooted in family, focused on you. Call or visit frugetfamilydentistry.com to schedule.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to greystonecountryclub.com.
We're a nation of hardworking Americans, and businesses will always be the lifeline of this great country. As a business owner, you understand the importance of your reputation. In times of uncertainty, you need a real lawyer who's serious about protecting you and your business. You need a problem solver. You need the law firm of Clayton and Fruget. Tony Clayton is a proven trial lawyer. He'll defend you and your business to the fullest extent of the law. Protect your investment and call the law firm of Clayton and Fruget today.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Pelican Sports TV. I'm Chris Powers. We're talking sports. Saints in the Super Bowl, baby. Okay. Yeah, I'm nuts. I'm sounding like one of the fans. I will say, though, I've been wanting to see Tyler Shuck in here, wanting to see what he can do. I think they waited too long. Do I think Tyler Shuck's the answer? Nobody knows. He still threw some passes behind his receivers, but he looked pretty damn good. The way he got in and out of the rush and made some great-looking throws. And he broke a Saints rookie record, by the way, for a quarterback at 282 yards. That's a Saints record. He threw 2 touchdown passes, and Juwan Johnson didn't fumble the football. Juwan Johnson barely made it inbound, stayed in bounds, and went on the inside of the pylon to score the touchdown. I get hit hard, and he didn't fumble the football. Wait a minute. Chris Olave made a one-handed catch? No. If I didn't see it, I'd have told you, Marty, you're out of your mind. Whatever you're smoking, give me some of that. One-handed catch for Chris Olave. Saints beat Carolina 17-7, and Carolina had won 5 of the last 8 games. They were starting to play well. They just beat Green Bay, but now Green Bay is starting to go backwards a little bit. Anyway, they also did rushing. It was a good balanced attack, 122 yards in rushing. Defense played well. Offense played well. Defense did good. And by the way, one of the most ridiculous rules I've ever seen in my life was the blocked field goal. Now, what they're saying is that when the Saint guy touched it, now everybody tells you to get away from the ball, and that's true. But once it goes past the line, it's anybody's ball, and that's exactly what happened. And Carolina recovered it. Now, you're never going to see that probably ever again. Because I would come up with a way that I'm going to let somebody block if it's a long field goal. and let somebody touch it so we can recover that, and it's first down for us. That's crazy. Chances of that happening are pretty slim. It was a crazy play. I was so livid on that. Man, Kellen Moore is a little bit better than I was because I don't think Kellen Moore can get upset at all. But anyway, it was a crazy rule. But Olave had a one-handed catch and 104 yards in receiving with a touchdown. My goodness gracious! And where it is, he was caught in the one of the bags of Shaheed Rahid going to Seattle. Demario Davis had 7 tackles. That guy continues to do it. And also another crazy deal. Now, this was true. You can't touch the quarterback in the face. That Demario Davis gets an interception. It was taken away because no, it was Reed. Reed hit him in the face. Didn't pull the face mask, but hit him in the face. And with that, took away that interception. But that Demario Davis, I'm like you, Jonathan. I've said that we got to get rid of the big high salaries and just rebuild. How do you say no to Demario Davis next year?
That's the only guy.
I know. I mean, how do you say no to that guy who's a great community guy, great player still, and he's 105 years old? How in the hell do you say no to him to want to come back? That guy led the team in tackles. 7 tackles in that game. Kool-Aid had 6, and Werner had 6 as well. And Werner had a fumble recovery too. Saints have a bye week this week. They're 2-8. They have a bye week. So I don't know. I mean, absolutely crazy the way that game went. Absolutely crazy. But all in all, the team is playing hard, and I like that. You could see the team gave up on Eric Allen. Long time. In that Atlanta Falcon game, they didn't fear him. They scored the touchdown anyway. And that carried over to that next year where he got fired. That carried over. They didn't respect him. They didn't fear him. I'm not saying they don't fear Kellen Moore. They probably don't. But they respect him enough right now to play hard for him, and they're still playing hard. I see other teams that have given up. But this team is still playing very hard. And I am impressed by that. I really am. So with that being said, what can we expect for the Saints? Next week, as I mentioned, this Sunday the Saints are off. Then they will come back home to play Atlanta in the Dome. Atlanta's definitely beatable, for sure. They struggled in that game from Germany. Also, after that, they play the Miami Dolphins. They're on a little roll right now. And then they go to Tampa to play Tampa Bay. And that'll be in December. And folks, I mean, we're running out of time. Can you imagine that? Already the Saints have played 10 ball games? Are you kidding? 10 games. When I say fall flies, brother, it flies. There's no question about it. Fall flies. So absolutely crazy, but the Saints are 2-8, and like I said, we're not going to the playoffs. We're not going to win the division. We're not going to the Super Bowl. But it gives me optimism for next year. And they only gave me 2 trades. They could only muster 2 trades. That was it. McCoy got injured. Can't trade him. Kamara pretty much said he wants to stay, whether they tried to shop him and say, no, we want a number 1 draft pick, a first-round draft pick for him. I don't know. And word is they tried to get Olave out of here. But nobody, they was asking for too high a price. And I don't blame them. Give me a hot dog and I'll give you Olave. Cheese and Pete's. That's how much I think of him. But even though he had a good game, maybe, I don't know. That's one game out of several that I've seen him drop so many passes and run so many bad routes. It's not even funny. Overrated Ohio State player. But the Saints are still working hard. And who knows what will happen. That builds momentum. Will they finish? Will they finish in the top 10 for the draft? I think they will. I think they will. All right, when we come back, we got some more things to talk about in sports. We'll do that when we come back. Our pick'em contest coming up. Southern Jaguars, what happens with them? And this weekend, John Gruden makes a statement again. Brian DeBall out at New York. And a goofy LSU fan. We'll talk about that when we come back right after this. We continue to talk sports with me right here, Chris Powers on Pelican Sports TV.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats, the flavor says it all.
We're a nation of hardworking Americans, and businesses will always be the lifeline of this great country. As a business owner, you understand the importance of your reputation. In times of uncertainty, you need a real lawyer who's serious about protecting you and your business. You need a problem solver. You need the law firm of Clayton and Fouger. Tony Clayton is a proven trial lawyer. He'll defend you and your business to the fullest extent of the law. Protect your investment and call the law firm of Clayton and Fouger today.
Make a fun run in Livingston Parish now with all kinds of events for the whole family this fall. On October 25th, it's the Livingston Parish Creole Festival in French Settlement, Louisiana on Highway 16. Family-friendly fun, live music, Creole food, arts and crafts, and plenty of activities for the kiddos. Shop vendor booths and pursue the cultural exhibits. Then in November, it's the Walker reenactment on the 1st. Then on November 8th, it's the City of Walker Veterans Day Parade that will begin and end at Walker High School starting at 11 a.m. Also in the city of Denham Springs, the veterans will be honored at the Evergreen Park on November the 8th. For more information, visit LivingstonTourism.com. That's LivingstonTourism.com. Livingston Parish, make a fun run. All right, welcome back, everybody. Talking sports with me, Chris Powers, right here from Pelican Sports TV. We've got a lot of sports to talk about, more still. Thank you so much for watching the New Orleans, Baton Rouge, and Lafayette area. Our Pick'em contest was a couple of weeks ago. We've got some big games going on this week. And, Jonathan, we're getting too much in the thick of things, so I'll let you shout in your picks here. Yeah. You're 23-12. You went perfect. Yep. Last time we did this. I went 4-1. Guess who I lost on? LSU. I'm 27-8 on the year. All right, here we go. Oklahoma, number 11 in the nation, versus Alabama at home. Alabama does not look strong. I mean, they look strong enough. They're winning their games, I understand, but they have a horrible running game. Their defense is not as powerful. They're in the red zone, they are, but LSU's just bad in the red zone anyway. So it should have been a 53-0 game there in that game. Oklahoma still shoddy, and they're on the road. I got to go Alabama all the way on this one.
I'm taking Oklahoma.
Oh, wow.
Alabama looked very beatable at home. If LSU was even half confident on offense, I think they could have scored a whole lot more points. They're kicking all those field goals. I'll take the Sooners in a statement game for Brett Venables.
Wow. Good. I'm pulling for Oklahoma, really. Number 21, Iowa will take on number 17, the USC Trojans. There were still people that say Lincoln Riley could be coming to LSU. Stop that stupid rumor. Stop that. That guy is the guy who brought that rumor up is a guy that's on Florida at 22nd Street trying to collect money. He'll work for food. Shut up. Number 21, Iowa, and number 17, USC. At home, I got to give it to USC right there.
Catching me unprepared for this one, Chris. I'll just agree with you. Go with the Trojans as they're at home.
All right. Number 10, Texas versus number 5, Georgia. I got Georgia winning this game in Athens, Georgia.
This is going to be a great game, Chris. Arch Manning has played much better in the second half of this season. Him and Sarkisian kind of figured something out on offense. But I still got to give it to Kirby Smart and the Bulldogs. They're going to make a strong push to the playoffs. Give me Georgia. Yeah, I mean, wait a minute. Arch Manning is not playing well. It's just starting. That happens. That happens. Trust me, there are too many scouts and too many people that played in this game that said he had great talent. And I saw him. I think he did too. Arkansas at LSU and the Tigers. This game at Tiger Stadium, it's an early kickoff game. However, LSU is perfect. But again, you got two lame duck coaches here. No question about that. I hate to say this. I'm going with Arkansas because Arkansas can score more points. And I don't think LSU has the offense to keep up with them if LSU's defense is not playing well. I got to take Arkansas on the road. I have to agree with you, Chris. Sadly, I think Arkansas scores a lot of points on offense, and LSU's defense has looked not so dominating as they did at the beginning of the season. It seems like that week one against Clemson is so far in the rear view. I do like how Frank Woodson has his team playing hard, but I think Arkansas is going to score too many points.
Yep.
Bobby Petrino back on a motorbike.
Oh, yeah. You got me on that one, brother. That was a late Mike Tyson hit me right in the groin area on that one. That's awesome. I like that. Finally, one more. Tampa Bay at Buffalo. The Bills struggling. Wait, Joe Brady, the Wonder Boy, is struggling? The holy savior of LSU football is struggling? I don't have anything against the guy, but I'm not convinced. I mean, if I'm Insminger, I was ticked off by Joe Brady getting all the credit for the national championship year. Come on, Insminger, as an offensive coordinator, I had friends that hated Insminger. Guess what? In the Insminger era, they scored more points, and they also had more yardage than any other era in LSU football. Most points. And you're going to put Joe Brady 1 year, and it's all Joe Brady? Take me Buffalo, even with saying that. The Bills will win at home. The Mafia is going to make it loud. Tampa Bay lost a close game against New England Patriots at home. I think Tampa is, I don't want to say going south, but they've been losing a little bit more lately. I go with Buffalo at home.
Tampa dealing with a whole lot of injuries. Of course, you have Baker Mayfield playing outstanding quarterback. I'll give you the inside scoop here. Vegas has still the Kansas City Chiefs, the favorites to win the Super Bowl, even though that team at the season ended today wouldn't make the playoffs.
Wow.
Gonna have to muddy the waters of the NFL. You know they want to protect the Chiefs. Give me the Bucks against the Bills. Start that downfall of the Bills. Bump the Chiefs back up.
There we go. So that's two that we disagreed with. OU, Alabama, Tampa Bay at Buffalo. I like that. All right. Southern University, doing their coaching search, and I'm around, Coach Banks, the athletic director, quite often. Don't know who they're searching for. A lot of Southern fans want it outside the SWAC. I talked to Fred McNair yesterday, and I talked to him, and, I said, Coach, some people wanting, coaching outside of the SWAC. He's had 16 years in the SWAC. 16 years. 4 as a player, 4 as an assistant, and 8 as a coach. That's pretty impressive. He knows the referees. He knows the area. He knows the other coaches. He knows SWAC football. I have no problem getting Fred McNair. He won his first 4 divisional first 4 seasons he won the SWAC Eastern Divisional Championship 4 times in a row. And in 18 and 19, he won the SWAC Championship and then went to the Celebration Bowl. So I have no problem with Fred McNair getting the job. I really don't. I don't know who they're going to get on the outside, as well as the regular, like LSU. There's not any really big-name coaches out there that you can bring in here and turn this program around just like that. So I have no problem with Fred McNair. I'm not saying that my feather is in his area. I don't know. I don't know. If I was on the search committee, I'd do a little bit more research on this. I don't know. But Fred McNair is a nice guy. He's successful on the field, and I think he can go out and get a good quarterback. He did it at Alcorn. I think he can get a good, consistent quarterback that can play the game because he was a very good quarterback. Southern is our last home game this Saturday. Now, we talked about it. All the media coming to me and asked me, when's the last time they lost 6 in a row? When's the last time they won 7 in a row? 6 in a row was 2010. 7 and 8 in a row? Never. In 107 years. That's pretty impressive. 107 years of Southern football started in 1918. They never won 7 or 8. Here's another one. They never went winless at home at A.W. Mumford Stadium. If they don't beat Texas Southern this week, they're going to have 0 wins at home for the first time ever. Now, go back to 1949 on that because it tells you where the games were played and what have you. And I have the games from 1918 to 1948. However, they don't determine where they were played at. So I can't say if they were played at home or if they've ever done this before. Last time they finished 1-7-1, Jonathan, and I was 1 year old at that time. No, 1935. 1930, Johnson, I thought you were that age. 1935, the last time they finished with 1 win on the year, 1-7-1. They've got 2 games left to take that away. They finished 2-9, by the way, in 2010. That was Stump Mitchell's first year. They went 2-3 and lost 6 of the rest of their games. 2 p.m. kickoff. LSU's early kickoff. So is Southern. Traffic could be bad in Baton Rouge early on, so be aware of that. I don't know how many people are going to be at the Arkansas LSU game. I don't think there's going to be a lot of people at the Southern game either, even though it's senior night. 17 players say goodbye. And then Southern is off next week, and then they bring on the Bayou Classic, the 52nd Bayou Classic, with the Grambling State Tigers now beginning to win football games. I think they've won 3 in a row. They're looking better. Even that's with their quarterback, T-Set, that went out. So they're looking a lot better. John Gruden made a statement this week calling for NFL to end Thursday night games. That's not going to happen. That's a Roger Goodell baby, and I agree. I think it's horrible. If you've ever played this game, you know. Now, I can't imagine being a college player and being a pro player, and how long does it take you for your body to heal? How about an NFL player? You think an NFL player's body's healed from a Sunday to a Wednesday and you're ready to play on Thursday? But yet we're looking for the player's safety. We're out for the player's safety. But let's get that Thursday game. And I want a game. I want an 18th game. I want an 18th game. And I want you to play in Germany. I want you to play in Brazil. I want you to play in BFE. Play those games on the road. There's more and more games on the road. Roger Goodell one day might bite off more than he can chew. So with that being said, I agree with John Gruden that it needs to be out. Speaking of the National Football League and speaking of Commissioner Paul Tagliabue died this Sunday. He had Parkinson's disease and with that, heart failure. They said that linked to the heart failure. Paul Tagliabue is big because if it wouldn't have been for him, the Saints would be in San Antonio. Tom Benson, as much as he supposedly loved New Orleans, and I'm not going to talk about him because he did great things for the city and still does with his wife, was moving this team out of Louisiana. With that big argument he got in Tiger Stadium, I was almost right there. I was not far away at all from when that happened. That's right. He flipped I forgot about that, Jonathan. Yeah. He flipped him off. Yeah. And if it wouldn't have been for Tagliabue stepping in, promising him a Super Bowl, promising him money to rebuild the dome, helping him out with this and that, the Saints would have been in San Antonio. There's no question about that. He had a lot of dealerships in San Antonio. His family lived in San Antonio. That's where they wanted to go. Thank God Paul Tagliabue stepped in and saved it. I don't forever see New Orleans ever losing the Saints. I see Atlanta maybe one day. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I could see the Falcons maybe moving from Atlanta. I don't see Green Bay leaving. I don't see the Cowboys leaving. I don't see the Saints leaving. There might be other ones. Kansas City, Chiefs, maybe moving to the other state. From Missouri to Kansas. I mean, it may happen. But I do not foresee that happening ever in New Orleans. NFL loves New Orleans way too much. And the NBA does too. David Stern, shocking enough, saved the Pelicans from leaving New Orleans. He wants them to stay in New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina. He fought to keep the Pelicans in New Orleans. Wow. Shocked me because remember, I don't know if you remember this, but years ago, the Minnesota Timberwolves were going to move to New Orleans, and he blocked it. And I'm like, that jerk. So he hates New Orleans. But no, now before he died, he wanted to make sure that New Orleans kept being the NBA franchise. I think eventually New Orleans is going to build a new arena, and that may hopefully revitalize this program, this franchise, because it's horrible. It's the same old, same old. So let me ask you, Jonathan, you still want Green as your coach? Well, it's nice. Yeah, he moved. I mean, he says hello to you, waves at you, gives you extra beignets at Cafe Du Monde.
It is about wins and losses. Unfortunately, this team had too rough of a start to agree to a whole other season of Willie Green. Just my opinion.
150 and 186. But that's the one I want to fire, not Brian Kelly. I mean, enough's enough. I mean, but look, Joe Dumore's going to figure that out. He's a smart guy, great basketball guy. He's going to figure that out. Eventually, he'll make it happen. Brian DeBoer out at New York Giants. A lot of people say he was a great coach. He has got a great mind. He's a great offensive guy. And there was talk about him possibly going to Buffalo to replace Joe Brady. But at the same time, they had him also here talking with Mickey Loomis. Don't know if I saw the picture, but you know how that is. I don't know if that's true or not. If DeBoer was here talking to Mickey Loomis, I looked it up all over the place trying to confirm that, and I couldn't find it. I don't know if he did meet with Mickey Loomis. Is he going to change? No. Bring him on? No, it wouldn't happen because you got two strong guys for offensive coordinator with Kellen Moore and Brian DeBoer. That's not going to happen. He's not coming. Big fights in football in the state of Louisiana. Don't mess with our gumbo or our boudin. Grambling State and Bethune-Cookman got in a fight. 27 players have been suspended, some of them 2 games, which could be effective because now what the SWAC does and what the SWAC schools do, they don't release the names. Now, Raging Cajuns release, and they release the names, but SWAC officials will not release the names of who got suspended. But it's big because if Grambling players got a 2-game suspension, they won't be playing for the Bayou Classic. I don't blame Grambling what they did. Now, I don't condone fighting. I understand that. But look, when you play the game, they put thumbs, try to poke my eyes out, try to hit me in the midsection and all that stuff like Marty does all the time with me, all that stuff. But what happened was Bethune-Cookman, there's one tunnel to go in and out of, and Bethune-Cookman was lined up in that tunnel. I don't agree with that Michigan-Ohio State thing either. They go out one tunnel, come in one tunnel. I don't agree with that. That's you're asking for trouble. One tunnel to come in, one tunnel to get out of. And Bethune-Cookman was staying there, and they had 3 minutes and some seconds left before the second half began. And they kept saying, move, 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 and Bethune-Cookman wasn't moving. So Grambling started moving them out, and that's where the big fight occurred. And some players got, like I said, I heard 17, but I heard a report this morning that said 27. I don't know which one's true or not, but a lot of players got suspended. UL Raging Cajuns versus Texas State got in a big fight, too. 13 players got suspended there. LSU fan that ran out onto the field at the Alabama game, well, I wanted to get tackled. You should have been tackled, and you should be in jail for a damn long time, you idiot. You're a freaking idiot. That's my next-door neighbor. No, I'm joking. But what a goofball. What a goofball. Oh, no, I was on the field of Tigers. I'm in Alabama. Hoo-hoo. Man, yeah. If I was your son, I'd be proud of you, Dad. Jameis Winston will start this week against the Green Bay Packers for the Buffalo Bills. Against the Green Bay Packers for the New York Giants. That was announced today. And ESPN brought up a good point. Could Russell Wilson have played his way out of the Hall of Fame? That's not a bad argument. There's a possibility that he played too long. Dallas Mavericks fired, finally, General Manager Nico Harrison this week. Finally, he got fired for all the bad moves he made. And he made some good moves, but he did get fired, and because of their bad start. Still too early to tell on college basketball in the state of Louisiana. A few teams look really good, but no big games yet, so you really can't tell. That goes for women and men. Gambling in sports, is that a problem? And you know what's good? I don't know if you heard this, Jonathan, but Boomer Esiason, when they asked him a couple of weeks ago about the gambling in the NBA, I think it started with the no call for the Saints-Rams game. He brought that up, and I agree with him. He brought that up. 2 Cleveland Guardian pitchers were indicted this month on rigging pitches and for bets. Now, one of them today came out and said, I'm innocent as hell, says Jimmy Swaggart. So who knows? I don't know. All right. So, again, thank you for watching another edition of Pelican Sports TV with me, Chris Powers. We'll be here again next week, I believe. We'll be in a tent revival. I'm not sure. But we'll be back next week, I promise you. Until then, I'm Chris Powers saying so long, everybody.
Johnson heads to the ball.